Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Miner. This weekly no-fluff mindset show arms you with the practical tools you need to get unstuck so you can get exactly what you want out of life. Remember, when you change your mind, your life will follow. Let's get into today's episode. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Unstuck. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode. I'm Sean, your host for today and every day. Well, every episode, I guess, of Unstuck. And it's great to be here with you. Today, we're going to talk about funks, not funky. That's different. That's meant for the dance floor. Today, we're going to talk about being in a funk. I know you know what I'm talking about. We all have them. We all know them. We've all been there, done that. It happens. No one is immune to them. And I think right now, especially, it's an important time to talk about being in a funk and what to do about it because, you know, there's more funks going on out there, I'd say, either because you're stuck at home with your kids all day, you're trying to work from home still, you're working overtime because you're in an essential business, you're feeling isolated from your family and friends because you haven't seen them in so long. So many reasons to be in a funk right now. I mean, we are now basically have been quarantined for a few months. Some of us are now able to have a little less restriction, but we're still trying to stay at home. We're still very concerned about the spread of the coronavirus. We still have to take things seriously and carefully and wear masks and be really diligent about our cleanliness and all that stuff. So it still is a very real thing. And because of that, you know, we've had now 2 months worth of topics covering this kind of things and things that are coming up in this time for us. And it's not over yet. So what I like to do, though, in this case is to have these talks where we're discussing things that are kind of maybe more prevalent right now. Maybe more of us can relate right now in this scenario, but then also the rest of our life. We still go through these things. They still happen. We're still all going to have numerous days or weeks or months when we're just in a funk, even after the coronavirus is in the past. This is still something that we need to recognize and need to talk about and be aware of in ourselves. So now is a good time to talk about it for so many reasons. And that's what we're going to do today. Before we do, I just want to say a big welcome and thank you to all the ladies who joined in on the May class of the Unstuck Project. They're officially in, getting started this week. And, you know, if you took part in the free week that I offered, you're already on the second week, which is cool too. And so welcome to all of those ladies. If that was something that you were interested in and you weren't able to get in on, hey, no worries. You will have another chance later this summer. I believe it's going to be the probably August range is when the next round of the Unstuck Project will take place. So you can be on the lookout for that. And then I will be opening up the Unstuck Collective, which is kind of the Mindset 202, the second stage of the mindset journey, where really the Unstuck Project is kind of that first initial mindset 101. And really what I'm finding is that the ladies in the Unstuck Collective who have already done the Unstuck Project, which is the vast majority of them, are really, really reaping the benefits of that community and the membership and that constant kind of learning and growing and developing that we do on a week-by-week basis in the collective. And so I really am starting to think that the Unstuck Project might just be a prerequisite to get into the collective. I'll have to kind of see how that goes over the next few months and what else I can learn from that experience. So I'll let you guys know. But if you want to be a part of a community of women who are going through this unstuck process together and really just totally expanding who they are as people all around. I mean, it's just such a phenomenal thing to witness and to be a part of. And, I'm doing this work too as we go. We're all kind of doing it together and being able to connect and grow together and see each other's faces on a monthly basis and talk to each other, kind of chat with each other, I guess, every day over in our forums. So if that's something you're interested in too, you will want to strongly consider the Unstuck project first and then make that kind of the second step. Or I will also be giving the option to do them together in the summer/fall. So be on the lookout for all of that. Excited for the future of Unstuck. And I have, of course, other things I'm brainstorming right now that are going to be great too. As you'll find out in an episode coming up quickly, we talk about human design, and based on now what I know about my human design, it all makes so much sense as to why I constantly have a project that I'm brainstorming, because that's just who I am. That is my role here on the planet, and it feels so much better to know that about myself, because I always just thought I was this crazy person that just my brain wouldn't stop. And I got kind of annoyed with myself. But now that I know that that is just me, that's my design, that's who I am, that's why I'm here, I feel a lot better in letting myself just express that and just be the person that's always brainstorming, always coming up with new things, new ideas, new concepts I want to move forward with. So thank goodness. But you'll find out more about that coming up very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that episode. Such a good one. You guys are going to be so into human design if you're not already. All right, let's get into this episode today. First things first, definition of a funk. It's a bad mood. It's a slump. It's just feeling blah or having this kind of icky feeling where you're just kind of burned out, or maybe you feel stressed about something, or maybe you feel sad or mad or frustrated or even bored. You might feel some anxiety. You might just feel restless, but at the same time, you don't really want to put your energy towards anything. You're in a funk, right? We've all been there. We can all kind of know our personal definition of when we're in a funk. Clearly, funks are riddled with these undesirable feelings and emotions and the low vibes that we talk about here a lot on Unstuck. And I think one common theme with funks is that a lot of the times we don't even know why we're there. There is no particular reason, or there's not just one thing that got us there. It's not like we're in a bad mood because we got in a fight with our partner or something like where we can fully connect the dots. We're just kind of there. And a lot of the times we wake up that way, like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed kind of situation. We woke up in a funk and clearly maybe we had a dream and that got us in a funk, or maybe it's something rolling over from the previous day, or there's just no reason, and that's fine too. The other thing that I think categorizes a funk a little more so than just, having an emotion based on a certain situation that happened is that funks tend to drag on. They can really hang with us for longer than just whatever that initial stage was that spurred this bad mood or undesirable emotion. They can be hours, days, or even weeks long where we're in this funk. We still don't know why. We still really can't even describe what we're feeling, why it came up, how we got there. We're just there. And we're just kind of sitting there in it. So that's how I describe being in a funk, at least for me. Like I said, you may have a totally different idea or definition, but I think we all kind of have the similar concept of that feeling of being in a funk, because again, I think most of us have probably been there at one point or another. Now, I'd like to make it very clear before we move any further, please know this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being in a funk. As I said, we all have them. We all will continue to have them. They are a part of life. They are a normal experience. It doesn't make you a bad person or a negative person or a low vibe person. It doesn't mean that you are someone that's doomed to never manifest what you want and to never connect with your inner being or connect to the universe. It doesn't mean any of that. Funks are normal and they're okay. And actually, what we'll find out as we go through what I'm going to talk about today, they're a really good thing to your vibration, to your energy. When you practice what we're going to do today, what we're going to talk about today, they can actually really be a good thing because they give us a chance to explore our emotions, all of our emotions, not just our positive emotions, all of our emotions and why they happen and how we feel and what feels good to express and what feels good to get out of. There's just so much learning and exploring and awareness that we can do when we are in a funk. So that is the first kind of caveat that I wanted to share. The second is more of a disclaimer, which is that if you feel like you are in a funk that doesn't want to let up, that you just can't seem to get yourself out of, and it's affecting your sleep, your appetite, your work, your relationship, how you're taking care of yourself, please seek professional medical attention. This is something beyond just the type of funks that we are talking about today. So please make sure you have enough awareness to know if it is going beyond what we're describing today, and please seek medical care. All right, now we have our quote. Actually, we have two quotes for this episode because, of course, I can't ever decide. So I just share all the quotes that resonate with me. The first one by Anna Funder. She was brave and strong and broken all at once. And, I think even just speaking that and hopefully in you hearing that, it triggers something. It triggers that feeling. It almost makes me emotional to really understand and really absorb the fact that we can be brave and strong while also being broken. And that is beautiful. That's a beautiful, wonderful, normal place to be. And I think it also says, you can still be the light when there is some darkness. You can still be going along with the current of life, even when there are bumps along the way. And we've talked about it, I believe in episode 3, talking about how, using our alignment and kind of seeing it in terms of a river, and you can go along with the current of the river, and that is being in alignment, is going along with the current instead of trying to force your way upstream. That is going against the current, that is making things harder, that is out of alignment. And so if we're thinking we want to be in alignment and we want to go with the current, we want to go downstream and the easy path, think about an actual river. Think about being on a raft. You're still going to probably see some rocks sticking up. Maybe you approach a rock and bounce off of it as you continue to go downstream. So just because there are those bumps along the way, they're going to be, it doesn't mean you start turning around and going back upstream. And I think that's really a wonderful, beautiful way to think about it too. And then the second quote I thought was just really fun and just wanted to add to it, from Dolly Parton, who always has fun things to say. If you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain, which again just shows that it's not always going to be rainbows. And I think there is just so much thought out there from the women I connect with who are listening to this show and doing the Unstuck work and in the project, in the collective, who are almost like scared of being in a negative place when that is part of the process. That's how we get to the rainbow, is being in the rain. And so it's not about not having these moments, not having the negative emotions. It's about what you do from there. And that is what we're going to go over today. So remember, the important thing when we talk about funks today is that your being in a funk doesn't make you turn and start forcing your way through life, start forcing your way upstream, going against the current. That you don't start living with these bad moods all the time, that they don't start dictating your life and you don't start wallowing in your negative emotion. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, today, I thought I would just provide some ideas or tips to get you out of a funk. Because, like I said, totally normal, totally expected, totally understandable, but also we don't want to start living in that. We do want to get out when it's the right time and as we have processed and used that funk to our advantage. So it's not that we should never be in one. It's just we don't want it taking over. So we can learn and grow from it and come out even better and with even higher vibes, which is just something I think is amazing and I love. First, I don't know if I'm going to call, these aren't really steps. Actually, I will call them steps because I do think they go in order. So this is a process. And the first step to the process is to acknowledge the fact that you are in a funk. So you are completely aware that you're in a funk and that's just how it's going to be because you are allowing yourself to be there. Fully allowing it, acknowledging it, being cool with it, because this is where it actually will raise your vibration to be in a funk because you can use it as a means to get to know yourself better and feel into your feelings instead of, tucking them away, shying away from them, pretending they're not there, stashing them, stuffing them down. That's what we don't want. And that's when we can really see that a funk, being in a funk, turns into wallowing, turns into a constant bad mood, and potentially could even turn into depression. But what we want to do here is to not pretend that we're fine when we're not try to force a positive emotion when we're not feeling it. That will all keep you in a low vibe place way longer than just staying in tune with yourself at all times, staying curious about what's going on, what you're feeling and why, and being open to that emotion, no matter what it is, no matter how low it gets. And, I hate to say it, but it might hurt to really feel that emotion. Maybe you are feeling sad or angry. And, so many times we shy away from those emotions because we don't want to feel that. It hurts. But it's temporary. And out of it comes something that feels naturally so much better. So can you sit with that negative emotion and really feel it and really express it to then free yourself of it? And remember, you don't even need to know why you feel what you do. You just need to know that you do feel that way and you're honoring it. So no stuffing, no ignoring, allowing. The second step, awareness. Of course, you knew it was going to come up at some point because this is really the pinnacle of all mindset work, all personal development, all self-improvement is building awareness about yourself. Now, this is actually the second step. can you learn more about what you need? So what is that funk, being in that funk, telling you? There's a reason why you're feeling a negative emotion, and it's because your body, mind, and or soul needs something. You need something. That's why you are having a negative emotion. This is really where I find women especially can't quite connect with that because they're not used to giving themselves what they need. We are givers to others as spouses, as partners, as parents, as daughters. That is a huge role, is to give of ourselves to others. And so when it gets to a point where we need to find out what we need, we can't figure it out because we're not used to giving to ourselves. And this is really where we can make some huge steps in our own energy by being able to explore what we need. So when you're in a funk, what do you need? What is that thing that would make you potentially be able to either feel better or express your emotion? Go do it. Is it more sleep? Is it a hug? Is it a good conversation with your bestie? Is it some alone time? Some connection, which has to be virtual for the most part right now. But can you do a virtual meetup? Is it a way to be creative, finding a creative outlet for yourself, maybe with a new hobby or picking up an old hobby, starting a new project? Maybe you just need some fresh air or some exercise. And, all of those are really great. Like, I think even just in that list, we're all like, yes, 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 I need all of the above. But really, there's probably one or two of those that would just totally make you feel so much better and potentially get you out of that funk once you have acknowledged that it's there and you've allowed it to be there. Now you're expressing it. You're building awareness around it and expressing it, which could very well also be that you need to emotionally express it too. Maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to laugh. Maybe you need to punch a pillow. Like, there's so many ways that we can express ourselves emotionally too that then dampens down that buildup that has occurred in our bodies potentially for way longer than just this funk. So again, we're working to continue to build the connection with ourselves, which is a very high vibe thing to do. Hello, honoring your needs. Yeah, that is very high vibe. All right, the third thing, this is really for those of you who, so it could be for those of you who don't know what it is you need. But then this is also for those who do know what they need and potentially have done those things, but still need some extra. There are 5 foolproof actions for you to take. And in my ideal world, these 5 things would be something that we all do, whether we're in a funk or not, every single day. Now, if you are in a funk, do them. Even if you've already done some other things, like you went and took a nap, read a book, something like that, and you're feeling a little better, still do these things. And if you are not in a funk, but you are ready to just change everything in your life, do these things. The first one, meditate. By the way, there's an acronym that I didn't know this spelled until just now, but this is great. It's MAMAS. So just remember MAMAS. First one, meditate. I was actually surprised at the amount of women, the percentage of women that came into the Unstuck Collective that were not regularly meditating. And that is not a requirement, but it's a pretty big deal in that group to meditate regularly. It doesn't have to be every day, but we do talk about meditation quite a bit in there. We share all of our favorite meditations that we've found. I've gotten them, most of them on my favorite meditation app. And so it's a big deal. And the funny thing is, most of them were not regularly meditating when they came into the group. And now almost all of them are. And every single one of them is like, this is the favorite part of my day. This has changed so much for me. This makes me feel so good. I love meditating. And this is the case for most people when they actually commit to making meditation a regular part of their life. I haven't done an actual entire episode on meditation yet, which I absolutely could and probably will, but I talk about it a lot. And so this is just another case where I'm giving you a tool that would benefit you in so many ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, all of the ways, and suggesting it. So if you haven't started a meditation practice yet, when you're in a funk would be a great time to give it a whirl. And if you're not in a funk and you're ready to take it on, I would love to see that. Number 2, the second part of mamas, appreciate. We've talked about gratitude and appreciation here. I mean, especially if you're in this kind of low vibe place, you're in a funk, you're feeling some negative emotion, you're just kind of blah, bored, whatever. Think about how it would feel to then find those things in your life that you're really appreciative of or grateful for or excited about. Now, we're not trying to divert attention from what's really going on. Remember, we've already acknowledged and allowed our negative emotion. We are aware of what we need, what it's really telling us. So we've already done all that. So this isn't a diversion tactic, but it is a way to really come back to the present moment, to really remember the good that you have that's going on right now, because we all have tons of good going on right now. And it's just bringing that awareness back to that. And that is an instant mood booster. I think we can all agree with that. Next one, move. Movement is so key to just, yes, physically moving your body, but energetically moving that energy, getting stuck energy to start loosening up. Not to mention all the endorphins and the neurotransmitters that are released when you move your body that will automatically lift your spirits no matter what. Even if you haven't yet figured out what you need or what is really calling to you, if you can simply go for a walk or even do some squats and push-ups, do some yoga, whatever's calling to you, dance, hey, that would be a great one. Another complete mood booster, if you ask me. Doing something like that where you are physically moving your body, but then also getting that energy moving again too, is so critical. So critical. The fourth one, air. You need to get outside. You need some fresh air. Again, it's like one of the last things we want to do when we're in a funk is to, go out in nature, go for a hike, go for a walk. It doesn't sound like that's going to really be all that great because we probably want to lay in bed or watch Netflix and just totally disconnect. But I would urge you to consider doing the opposite. And of course, a lot of times with getting outside, we can kind of check off the movement and the air at the same time. We can go outside and take a walk, or even go out to the park and do some yoga poses or something like that, where we're connecting with both of them at the same time. But even if you don't feel like doing that, you can go find a park bench to sit, or even just go sit in your backyard and lay there and take a nap and just feel the sense of nature, because we all know, I've talked about it here many times, the vibration of Mother Nature is extremely high. And even just taking a few deep breaths of fresh air will ground you in an amazing way. And the last one, the S of mamas, is sleep. I love sleep. Sleep is so great. And what sleep also does is it kind of gives you a clean start. Oftentimes, if we wake up and we're in a funk, if we just go back to bed even for 20, 30 minutes and try again, we have reset. That energy has been kind of put to bed, pun intended, and we're able to start over, start again. And I think so many times when we're in a funk, it's because we're tired. We're exhausted. We just need a little more sleep. We need a little bit more time in that place, that dreamland, that sleep state, that regenerative state. Remember, it is regenerative for your body, but also for your mind, for your soul, and for your energy. So maybe you just need to take a nap. Maybe you need to go back to bed. Maybe you need to go to bed early. See what you can do when you're in a funk. So like I said, those are my go-tos. If you're not sure what you need when you are feeling in a funk, start with those. Go down that list. Mamas will help you remember it. And then see how you feel. And you may also at that point have a better chance of connecting with yourself to find out what other things you need beyond that after you've gone through those 5 steps. But then also consider these as even just, regular daily life tools to potentially keep those funks further apart. Again, they're not going anywhere. We're all going to be in a funk at some point. But maybe you have a longer period of time between your funks because you have taken on this practice of meditating, appreciating, moving, getting out in nature, getting air, and sleeping, getting into a nice, normal sleep pattern. All right, moving on. The 4th step to getting out of a funk. Disconnect from not real life activities so that you can reconnect with your life. So this for me means basically social media and television. I think it is often our go-to when we're feeling in a funk or in a bad mood to just want to disconnect from what's really going on with ourselves. We want to lose ourselves in something else, take our minds off something. So we end up, binging on Netflix, scrolling social media for way longer than we should, looking at everyone else's perfect lives or the perfect bodies on TV or whatever it may be that really gets us into this place even deeper than just this funk we're in of comparison, which I call comparitis, competition, these feelings of lack, lower self-esteem, lowering your self-worth, all of this stuff that really does happen, whether we're conscious of it or not. So in order to reconnect with what's good in our own life, or the reality really of just our own life, is to disconnect from that other stuff and get involved with our life to stay connected with ourselves. So instead of checking social media for the 15th time today, maybe you could call up a real friend or go check in on a neighbor, bring them a snack or some cookies you made, 6 feet apart. Keep that in mind, at least right now. There are things that you can do to stay connected with your own life. And the great thing is they'll just naturally happen when you take away the tools to disconnect. When you say, okay, no, I'm just going to put my phone over here on the charger in the other room, turn it off, let it be. Not going to turn on the TV just yet. What do I feel like doing? How can I stay connected? Of course, the mamas are some other great things that you can start with. But then also, if you feel that need for connection, how can you find that connection in other ways with people in your own life? Number 5, random acts of kindness. I mean, come on. Of course, no matter how low of a funk you're in, how bad of a mood you have gotten into, it always feels good to be kind to someone else. What can you do? What are some random acts of kindness that would make you feel really good to help others? Is it paying for someone else's coffee? Or is it helping, someone in the grocery store take their groceries to their car? Is it letting someone cut in front of you in line? Just very, very simple. Again, taking cookies to your neighbor. Hey, we can maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone. There. There are just very simple things that you can do as random acts of kindness that will make you feel like $1,000,000. And I'd venture to say, maybe even make you completely forget that you were in a funk in the first place. So give that a try. And my 6th tip is something a little different. I haven't mentioned crystals a whole lot here on the show as of yet, besides maybe just saying that was something that was part of my world. But I want to have a whole episode in the near future on crystals and how they work, why they work, what the significance of crystals are. So I won't get into that today, but if you already have a background on crystals or are at least open to exploring them, there are many crystals out there that are known to absorb negative energy, whether it's external, as in you need protection from some other force that's negative, like a negative person or situation, workplace, something like that, or internal. If you're having your own negative chatter, negative emotion, if you're feeling a negative emotion, you can use crystals to transmute your own negative energy into a more positive place, which I think is really cool. Now, it's not like you can only use crystals and everything's going to be great. This is a piece of all of this that we've talked about today. It's another step. It's another part of the process in addition to everything else you're doing. For me, what I like to do if I am having a negative experience, either externally or internally, is take the crystal that I have for negativity, which is black onyx, and meditate with it. Hold it in my hand or put it somewhere around my body. Keep it in my pocket, keep it in my purse, have it around me for that day. And it's really great. And I think it's a fabulous tool to use. So some of the most common crystals used for negative energy are black tourmaline, black onyx, black obsidian, smoky quartz, and hematite. And my last tip for you to get out of a funk is to let go and trust. Is there something within that funk, now that you've kind of explored it, you're aware of it, you've acknowledged it, you're allowing it, but is there a thought, a feeling, or an action within that funk that you can let go of, that's no longer serving you, that's no longer necessary in your life, that's no longer desired in your life? So can you let go of something that got you there? Can that be part of your exploration and your process? But then also, where can you find more trust with your higher power, with the universe? That guiding force that you have, where can you lean in and find more trust and know that your path is there already for you? Your desires are there already for you. And when it's right, it will come and it will be perfect and it will be meant to be and everything will be smooth sailing? Can you find more trust? Can you use this experience to lean into that a little more? All right, that's it for today. Your homework is next time you are in a funk, which may be right now, it may be tomorrow, it may not be for a month or a year, who knows? But next time you are there, I want you to say this out loud, either to yourself, to your partner, to your friend, to your mom. I don't care. You can say it to anybody, but say it out loud. I'm in a funk, and right now I need blank. I'm in a funk, and right now I need blank. This shows that you are acknowledging that you're in a funk. You are very aware that you are there. And you've started to understand what you need. You've become aware of what that negative emotion is telling you. So right now I need blank is doing that. That is your homework assignment for the next time you are in a funk. And that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would absolutely love to know what you are thinking of the show. If you can head over to iTunes and leave me a 5-star review, let me know what you love. It would mean so much to me and this show. And also, please let me know that you are tuning in. Post a pic of the episode that you are loving over on your Instagram stories. Make sure to tag me at Sean Miner so I can see what you are listening to. I absolutely love seeing that, and I would love to know what you're loving. It helps me guide the direction of this show and what I talk about. So go ahead, let me know over on iTunes and over on Instagram stories. They both mean the world to me. Let's keep spreading the message of the Unstuck podcast and all of the work we do here together. All right, until next time, take care.